Hello there. Before I even knew how to crochet, I was interested in the summery tops that are flirty and sexy, but never did I feel confident enough to wear those for many different body reasons. I finally got the nerve to just make my own. I followed a pattern once on one before, so I wanted to just kind of wing it and go for it. I looked at some different images on Instagram to get some inspiration of patterns, shapes, stitches, all the elements that make a top, and I just kind of went for it. When I started, I only thought I was going to do short form content. I had no intention of making a longer video because this project started before the last video I posted, which, you know, this tends to be how it goes. When I get to a hard spot, I kind of stop and move to another project, but I think bouncing around is very good for me, so bear with me a little bit on getting better at this, but yeah, let's make a fun little top. And voiceover Anna's coming in to tell you about how I didn't take any videos up until now, so you don't get to see how I made any of this, but I'll tell you a little bit about it. The two triangles at the top are just a single crocheted put together into a triangle piece. That bottom panel is a cherry blossom pattern, which I will show you on screen. As a reminder, perfectionism is overrated in my filming and also my crochet. I don't know what the heck happened, but on one side there's a notch in it. It's not straight like it's supposed to be. I messed up. I single crocheted up the side of this anyway, so when I got to this point I did a half double and then a few doubles just to make it all nice and even, ended with a half double and then single crochets. Again, I'm very sorry about it's so hard to see me crocheting in this. I didn't have a good setup at this point. I started this video a hot minute ago, and also the framing of it, I thought I was only potentially going to do short form content. I had only really started that at this point, so I promise this should hopefully get better. I guess I shouldn't promise. It could get worse. Hopefully not though. When I finished that cherry blossom panel, I knew it wasn't going to fit. It needed to be longer than it was, and so I was already planning to fix this with double crochets. This yarn contains a little bit of wool in it, and so it was a huge pain in the butt to frog, so I decided not to, and I was just gonna fix it, and that's okay. The rest of this is kind of rough quality, so I'm just gonna kind of zoom on past it. Rest assured, I did just finish off this row with single crochets, and then the rest of the panel were double crochets. Here you can see me working on the straps. They were just a bunch of double crochets. Let me check. Confirmed, yes, they were double crochets until I made it longer than it needed to be. I'm currently in the process of making the bottom border of my top, and I just want to check in and show off how excited I am about how this is turning out. In the beginning, clearly not as good as I am getting towards the end, but I don't think bad enough to redo, so we're not going to frog it. We're going to keep moving on. Just wanted to check in. Initially, I was thinking about doing a corset closure for this, but I wasn't super happy with that. I found these closures online and knew I had to try it. I've never seen anyone do it with crochet. I'm sure someone has, but I wanted to give it a shot. To stitch these together, I had to figure out which thread to use, so here I am testing those out and which color matches the best. Initially, I thought it was going to be this little light blue one because it matches perfectly with the light color, and none of the other ones matched any of the colors perfectly, but I ended up using that dark blue one because it blended in better with the darkness. The light just popped out too much. I really struggled out figuring out how far apart each little clasp needed to be from each other, and my very helpful assistants here definitely helped me with the math of it. Hey, don't eat my hair! Doesn't seem right. Why is that not mapping? Eventually we got there, and I say we because this was very much a team effort. I wrote down how far apart each one of those little clasps needed to be, and I will spare you all the boring details because I know you don't want any of that. Then I just got to stitching, which took a hot minute. And I didn't record all this because it took a while, but once I got one side done, then I went and did the other side. Here you can see me trying to figure out how long I needed those straps to be. I gave them a really good tug to try and make them as tight as possible because yarn does that really deceiving thing where it becomes looser over time. Once I felt happy with it, I pinned it on the strap and also on the shirt to try and figure out where it would be. Ambitious Anna tried to frog the whole strap as to not waste as much yarn, but as we talked about before, it was really hard to frog this, so eventually I ended up giving up and snipping away a whole bunch of excess and just frogging as little as I could. Whoops, accidentally undid one of my stitches, so here I am doing a double crochet. If you can hear my trash truck in the background, so sorry about that. I decided to attach the strap where the cherry blossom bloom pattern part ended and where the regular double crochet started, just for consistency. You can see that here. I slip stitched those two bad boys together so that the strap is now connected to the actual bodice on the back. I actually didn't really care for how this looked. I don't know what happened, but it felt squished and like a weird seam was there. I undid my work and redid it, and I got the exact same result, so I ended up just leaving it and calling it good. Here I am snipping away at the other strap, getting it prepared to be frogged. I decided to do this the right way and try and count all of my rows, but quickly gave up and just made sure they were about the same size. After frogging it, of course, I cut it too short, so I had to tie on some extra yarn for it. And then I had to fix my double crochets that came undone, and then I got it all slip stitched on there and copy paste. We've got two straps connected to the back of the bodice. I felt like I needed a little extra coverage between the two triangles, and I swear I recorded making this. Because I don't have a mannequin, I had to sit in front of the camera and chain stitch across and then a slip stitch to attach to make sure that it was tight enough but not too tight. Either the footage of me got deleted or I never pushed record, very well possible. Even if I found it, not sure I would include it here. Hopefully in the future I can get a mannequin. So, your girl has been needing a lot of sparkle and joy lately, and color. So I've been wanting to add sparkle and color to my hair. So we got some tinsels, because they're less damaging than color and more sparkly. My go-tos tend to be purple and teal colors. I'm very much a cool colored person and a mermaid colored person, I guess. My first try might just default purple. Oh, the tops go to black. Interesting. I'm blonde. Oh gosh, oh gosh. Don't tingle. Oh, I'm losing strands. Good, good, good. Yeah, I think we go with purple. That's fun. Sparkly and purple. Okay, we're gonna see how the rest of the shindig goes. I'll come back to you later. Accidentally filmed all of that on my front-facing camera. I don't know if that flips my face around, so if I looked weird, that's why. Because now I look weird to me. But I got some tinsel in my hair. It seems to be staying. So hopefully I did it right. And I don't think it looks too bad. Kind of excited. Sorry. Oh, that's gonna be a mess. Might just be a little sparkly in here for a little while. Okay. Now I have some purple. Alright. I'm gonna try and curl my hair again. I have this tinsel in. No idea if it's just gonna straight up melt away. We'll find out, I guess. But maybe I'll trim my bangs while I'm at it. We'll see. But here we go. Who designed this and was like, we're not gonna be able to fit all the little pieces in there. They're just not gonna. So if I put them on top, it absolutely will not close without crunching these, which they're important, and they're clips, so they're fragile. It seems these successfully did not melt in my hair, so I guess it's fine. Yay! Okay, I guess now that I'm ready, I have to go do the awkward thing of filming this in public. Not ideal for the incredibly socially awkward, but I guess let's do this.
Spin. spin.
So pretty. I just quickly want to do a little recap of this project. I used this yarn that has 10% wool. I got it on clearance from Hobby a while ago, and it's sparkly metallic, as you probably could tell. I really liked it, except for the wool made it really hard to frog and undo a project. It also makes it a bit scratchy, and I'm a little worried about how warm it might be in the summer because it gets pretty humid here. So if I were to do this again, probably use cotton or something, but I really like this. There are like two major things about the project that I want to improve upon before I wear it, and one is the straps. Just like I mentioned in the video, yarn tends to want to stretch, and those straps felt looser than I wanted them to, so I need to go back and tighten those. I don't think that'll be that hard to do. Maybe I can fix what I didn't like about the one strap. Maybe I'll do a different kind of stitch instead of a slip stitch. And then the other thing is between the triangles, I want a little bit more coverage. I felt very uncomfortable, very exposed, and that's even with protective clothing underneath, because I know some people don't wear protective clothing underneath, and I'm not one of those people, so I did buy something specifically for this. But yeah, those are my two major things. Really enjoyed the project. Trying to keep this kind of short. I don't want it to go too long. If there's more that you want to hear about in a future video, just let me know. But I think those are my two things. Feel free to give me some positive, constructive feedback. I hope to see you in the next one. Thanks for joining me.